Vets solve 90% of their cats' everyday problems with natural human foods, not expensive medicines. The surprising part? Most cat owners ignore these simple foods or throw them away without realizing their hidden benefits. Let's reveal these foods and discover how vets actually use them for their own cats. Number 1. The one food vets say explains half their own cat's shiny coats. This is the one people ask about most and get told about least. Plain, cooked salmon. No seasoning, no butter, no crispy skin fried in oil. Shows up in more vets' own cat bowls than anything else on this list. Not just because cats love it, though they do. It's the omega-3s again. Concentrated enough that a couple of tablespoons once or twice a week visibly changes a coat that's gone dry, flaky, or been shedding more than usual. Cooked fully, deboned, unseasoned, never raw, never smoked. Both carry real risks. A plain fillet simply doesn't. Picky about fish specifically? Flake it warm instead of cold. Warm releases more smell, and smell is what actually sells a cat on something new. It's the single most requested answer whenever an owner finally corners a vet and asks what they feed their own cat. Not a secret anymore. Number 2. The vegetable vets use to trick a hungry, overweight cat. A cat that's overweight and still begging every hour isn't broken. They're just eating a diet designed to run out of fullness fast. Plain, steamed green beans, no salt added, cut small, are almost entirely water and fiber, which means a tablespoon mixed into a meal adds volume and chewing time without adding real calories. A lot of vets use this exact trick on their own overweight cats, instead of just quietly shrinking the portion size. 3 or 4 times a week is enough to make a real, visible difference without turning a meal into a salad. For a cat who picks around anything green, chop it fine enough that it disappears completely into wet food. It's the cheapest weight management tool sitting quietly in a vet's own kitchen, and it never makes it onto a bag of diet food. Number 3. The orange puree vets trust over hairball medicine. Everyone treats hairballs like a joke. Hard, infrequent stools and constant hacking usually aren't 2 separate problems. They're the same one. Not enough fiber moving through. Skip the hairball gel loaded with sugar and flavoring for a second. A lot of vets spoon plain canned pumpkin, never the spiced pie filling, into their own cat's food a few times a week instead. Half a teaspoon is the whole dose. Push past that, and you'll swing the problem the other direction. Cat won't touch anything unfamiliar? Freeze small pumpkin dots into an ice cube tray and let them lick one like a treat. It gets eaten without a fight. It's slower than a gel, but it works with the gut instead of just coating whatever's already stuck, which is probably why pie filling still outsells a $2 can from the baking aisle. Number 4. The organ meat vets keep quiet about. You've been told organ meat is too much for a house cat. Vets never got that memo. Look at your cat's coat right now. If it's dull, patchy, or slightly greasy despite the premium food you buy, that's not a grooming problem. That's a vitamin A and B12 gap, and liver closes it faster than almost anything on a shelf. A pea-sized piece of cooked chicken or beef liver once or twice a week. That's the whole habit. Mince it fine and stir it into wet food your cat already trusts if they're suspicious of anything new. Don't serve it alone on day 1. Too much turns this from medicine into a problem, so keep it small. But that pea-sized piece is why some vets' own cats look freshly groomed without ever seeing a groomer, and why the rest of us just assumed it was genetics. Number 5. The liquid vets sneak into the water bowl. When did you last actually see your cat finish a full bowl of water? Take a second. You probably can't remember. That's not because your cat is fine. It's biology. Cats evolved from desert hunters who got most of their water from prey, and that low thirst drive followed them straight into your living room, part of why kidney disease shows up so often. Past 10. Plain unsalted bone broth changes that math. Warm it slightly and offer a splash once a day, poured over dry food or on its own, and a cat that ignores a full water bowl will drink it without even registering that's what's happening. No onion, no garlic, no salt, just meat and water, simmered down to almost nothing. Vets who watch kidney values climb in exam room after exam room keep a batch in their own freezer, not as medicine, as a habit. Number 6. The breakfast food vets use for cats who won't eat. A cat that skips food for a full day isn't being dramatic. Their bodies aren't built to fast the way ours are, and one bad day can tip into an actual emergency. So when a cat comes home from a stressful vet visit or surgery, or just flatly refuses their usual bowl, a lot of vets scramble a plain egg. No butter, no salt. Served warm, only on the days appetite actually drops. Not a daily food. Warm matters more than you'd think. Cold food barely smells like anything to a cat, and smell is most of what convinces them to eat at all. A few bites of soft, strong-smelling egg can be the difference between a cat who eats on their own and one who ends up needing a syringe. It's not a diet, it's a bridge, something to get them eating again. Number 7. The berry vets give cats who are starting to slow down. Your cat stares at a wall a few seconds too long, forgets where the litter box is in a room they've lived in for years. You chalk it up to just getting old. It's closer to brain fog than aging. Cognitive decline shows up in senior cats the same way it does in people, and blueberries, mashed, 2 or 3 at a time, mixed into wet food a couple times a week, are loaded with the exact antioxidants that target the cell damage behind it. Whole blueberries don't work well here. The skin's too firm, and the texture throws most cats off entirely. Mash it into a paste first. This won't reverse anything. It's the kind of unglamorous habit that never makes it onto a prescription pad because there's nothing to prescribe. Just a fruit and a cat that stays a little sharper for a little longer. Number 8. The bland meat vets. Fall back on for an upset stomach. Your cat throws up once, stops eating, stares at you like you did something wrong. The instinct is to panic and switch foods completely. Vets usually do something much simpler first. Plain boiled chicken breast, shredded fine, nothing added. Low fat, easy to digest, gentle enough that it doesn't demand anything from a gut that's already struggling. Too nauseous for a full portion? Offer a few shredded strands at a time instead of the whole bowl. Small wins first. This isn't a permanent diet. Twice a day, for a day or two, tops. If nothing settles by then, that's an actual vet visit, not a kitchen fix. But plain chicken sitting in a vet's own fridge, ready for whichever cat needs it that week, does more real work than most of the specialty digestive formulas lined up at the front desk. Number 9. The dairy vets actually recommend, in this one specific form. Dairy and cats don't mix. You've heard that 100 times. And for once, most owners have it right. Cats lose the ability to properly digest milk after kittenhood, except for one narrow window. Right after a course of antibiotics wipes out a cat's gut bacteria along with whatever infection it was treating, plain yogurt with live active cultures helps repopulate what just got cleared out. No fruit, no sweetener, just plain. A teaspoon once a day for about a week right after the course ends. That's the entire dose. Go past it and you risk upsetting a stomach that's already sensitive. Suspicious cat? Skip the bowl. Dab a little on a paw they'll lick clean out of habit, rather than risking a food they already trust. It's the one exception inside a rule that's otherwise correct, and exactly the kind of nuance a blanket warning erases. Number 10. The tinned fish vets keep for their oldest cats. Your cat used to launch onto the counter without thinking twice. Lately, there's a pause first, a hesitation before the jump, a slower set of stairs. That's not attitude. That's a joint, quietly getting stiffer, and cats are experts at hiding it. Sardines packed in water, no added salt, carry some of the highest natural omega-3 levels available in actual food rather than a capsule, and omega-3s are directly tied to less joint inflammation. Half a sardine, once or twice a week, mashed into their regular food. The soft bones inside are safe and add a small calcium boost on top. Texture picky? Mash it thoroughly instead of leaving chunks. A cat will eat what's blended in and pick around anything they can identify. It's a small, oily fish quietly, doing a job most joint supplements charge a lot more to attempt. Number 11. The breakfast grain vets Use for cats carrying extra weight. An overweight cat begging at the bowl, again, isn't being greedy. A lot of commercial food is heavy enough in fillers that a cat feels hungry again within the hour, no matter how much they just ate. Plain, unsweetened cooked oatmeal, nothing added, carries enough fiber that a small spoonful mixed into a meal makes a cat feel genuinely full instead of just fed. It also sits lower on the glycemic index than most dry kibble, which matters once a cat starts trending toward diabetes, a condition common enough that plenty of vets already manage it in their own aging cats. A tablespoon, cooled and plain, a couple of times a week. Start with a few grains mixed in if your cat resists any texture change, building up slowly. It's cheap, unglamorous, and does more for a heavy cat than most of the diet food aisle. Number 12, the second protein vets switch to when chicken stops working. Your cat's been on chicken-based food their whole life, and lately, their skin looks irritated, or the itching won't quit. Before assuming it's fleas or the weather, a lot of vets try something simpler first. Swap the protein entirely. Plain, cooked, unseasoned turkey is different enough from chicken to work as a genuine trial for a food sensitivity, without dragging a cat through a full prescription diet. Shred it fine and mix it into meals 2 or 3 times a week, watching closely for any real change in the skin or coat over a few weeks. For an older cat losing muscle along the spine, the same plain turkey works just as well as extra lean protein without the extra fat. It's the boring first step vets try before anything gets expensive. And it works often enough that the expensive step never happens. Number 13. The orange vegetable vets keep for cats whose eyes are slipping. An older cat who hesitates at the top of the stairs at night or misjudges a jump they used to make without thinking might be losing more than confidence. Night vision fades quietly in aging cats the same way it does in aging people. A small amount of cooked mashed carrot once or twice a week delivers beta-carotene that supports exactly that. It's a tiny amount that matters here. A teaspoon, mashed smooth, mixed into food a cat already likes. Since raw or chunky carrot is both a texture cats reject and a genuine choking risk. It won't restore vision that's already gone. What it does is support what's left. In the same quiet, unglamorous way, liver supports a coat. A small addition, not a fix, sitting in a vet's own kitchen because it's cheap enough to just keep doing. Number 14. The summer fruit vets use when broth isn't an option. Not every cat will touch bone broth no matter how you serve it. And on a hot day, a cat who's barely drinking is a bigger problem than usual. Seedless watermelon flesh, cut into small cubes with the rind removed, is over 90% water and sweet enough that some cats who ignore every savory hydration trick will still go after it without hesitation. 2 or 3 small cubes, a couple of times a week, is plenty. More than that, and the natural sugar works against you, especially for a cat already managing weight. It's not a replacement for a working water bowl, just a backup for the cats who treat broth like a trap. Keep it strictly seedless and well away from the rind, since both cause real digestive trouble on top of a cat already being dehydrated. Number 15. The low-fat fish vets swap in when salmon is too rich. Salmon works for most cats, but for a cat who's had a pancreatitis flare or tends to get a greasy stool from anything too rich, all that fat works against them instead of for them. Plain, cooked white fish, cod or tilapia, boneless, unseasoned, delivers protein and some omega-3 without the fat load that makes salmon or sardines a problem for a sensitive gut. Once or twice a week, a small flake portion mixed into their regular food is what a lot of vets quietly use instead for exactly these cats. Flake it warm rather than cold for the same reason as salmon. Smell sells it. It's the food that solves the same coat and skin goals as the flashier options on this list, minus the ingredient that actually causes trouble for a specific kind of cat. Nobody markets the boring fish. Vets still reach for it. Number 16. The seafood vets use after a trip to the dentist. A cat coming home from a dental cleaning or recovering from a pulled tooth has a sore mouth and very little interest in crunching through their usual kibble. Plain, fully cooked shrimp, tail removed, no seasoning, no butter, is soft enough to barely need chewing, and strong-smelling enough to actually get noticed by a cat avoiding food out of pain, rather than pickiness. A few small pieces, cut fine, offered once or twice a day for a few days right after the procedure, is a habit some vets keep for exactly this window and nothing else. It's not a regular food. The point is the short, specific job it does when chewing itself is the obstacle. Once a cat's back to normal, there's no real reason to keep offering it. It's a recovery food, not a routine one. Number 17. The grain vets use when chicken and fish are both off the table. A cat on a food allergy elimination trial has almost nothing left to eat once the usual suspects get ruled out. And a diet that's just meat, meal after meal, gets nutritionally thin fast, even for a strict carnivore. Plain, well-rinsed, cooked quinoa is one of the few plant foods that carries a complete set of amino acids, which makes it useful padding during exactly that kind of restrictive stretch. A small spoonful, mixed in 2 or 3 times a week, adds bulk and nutrition without reintroducing whatever protein is currently under suspicion. It's not something a healthy cat needs regularly. Cats are built to run on meat, not grains. But during an elimination trial, it's one of the few safe fillers. Rinse it well. The natural coating on raw quinoa can upset a stomach that's already on edge. 17 on one list was never meant to go in one bowl. No cat needs all 20 in a single week, so pick 3. 3 foods from this list that actually match what's going on with your cat right now. The water bowl they ignore, the coat that's gone dull, the weight that won't move. Comment your 3 and which day each one lands. Monday's food, Wednesday's food. The one you keep in reserve for the day, appetite drops. Don't want to build your own? Comment the word rotation instead, and the full 7-day plan. Every food, every day, laid out in order, gets pinned to the top of the comments for you to just copy. Write your own, or ask for the ready-made one. Either way, do it now. Scroll past without doing either, and this list does nothing for your cat tonight.